What's up, my dudes? It's the final build update of the Rogue Shadow. And just look at it. Just look. It's beautiful. It's magical. It's next to... I'll turn the camera this way. The Falcon. The Falcon is bigger by at least 3 inches. But it doesn't quite look it because you got so much more volume on the wings and the sides here. But that doesn't matter. When I researched the scaling, they said that it's almost 2 times the size of the Millennium Falcon. And I'm sitting there going, that makes no sense. It should be smaller based on the scale. If the cockpit is quote unquote, if this is 75% to 80% minifig scale, which is the range I usually build my mocks or models, the minifigures compared to the width of this and the size of the seats, you would see they're, I'll try to get in here real quick. The seats are pretty small. So if the seats are that small for a character, you would imagine 3 or 4 seats would fit inside here just as easily as that. Okay, that's the scaling we're working with. So going just from the hull and then scaling it, the rooms just here, I realized his training room had to be pretty tall. So it's 6 studs, if not a bit taller than that. There's a tiny bit of framework underneath here. I decided to not do a detailed, bottom, paneling and all that stuff because I just don't look at the bottom as often as I look at, the main preview anyways. And I mean, I can in the future do more detailing as I collect more parts. I'm not going to sit and try to collect every piece and try to figure out whatever the hell I need to do to make it absolutely perfect. It's not meant to be absolutely perfect. It's meant to at least be scaled correctly. And that's really what it is. And then get the main idea so you can at least see everything. So yeah, as you can see, there's a few colored bricks here and there, but it doesn't show too bad. Like I said, once you just stand up, just look at it from this angle or any other angle, it's really hard to see. Sorry, I keep holding the camera incorrectly. Any of the flaws in it. So questions that I'm going to answer, that I'm going to ask myself, that I would imagine you'd be asking are, can you fit a minifigure inside even though there's no interior? Yes, you can. So as I was explaining building this, you could lower this panel if you wanted to, but you don't necessarily need to. You can fit a minifigure in there just fine. And for a training room, I'd imagine that height is fine. And the entire training room would be here. The medical bay would be up here, things like that. So yeah, this just goes on pretty easily, like so. The engine, as you can see, I use brake separators, which is a very challenging way of attaching, but it is attached by the actual brake separators. They're faced, like they have these pins that are facing down. It's very loose, but it sits just neatly on there, and I can just pull it off. Actually, I might. Let's do it. I can just remove the entire thing like that, and it clips. These bend back. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't supposed to come off. I guess that's what happens though, sometimes. I don't know. I don't know why that came off. It's not supposed to do that. It's probably because these are caught in between, but it's a very tight fit and everything just kind of locks into place. This bends back, forces it forward, resting against this panel, and that's it. That's just enough tension to keep it all kind of locked in place. You can see the arm mechanism there. You can also see the way I repaneled it was to keep it as tight as possible and work with the actual Technic pieces that are in there. The entire frame on the bottom, I haven't modified it except I built out these legs. A good benefit of having these really strong legs that are really just well attached to the platform is any one of these wings or anything could fall off. Without this panel, this entire ship would just topple over, but now it will not. So it keeps the ship pretty stable. There's not too much weight. That was also another issue where I figured out that if I put more weight, there's going to be more issues when it comes to distribution or things like kind of moving around. I don't know, I just didn't want to like stress it any more than it needed to be, because this frame is lighter than the one I built for the Falcon. It can't hold as much. The Falcon is actually strong enough to literally hold up your cat. That is how strong it is. I could set a cat on top of it, it won't break. This one might warp a little bit too much for my liking, so you can press down on it. There's a little bit of give and things like that. But yeah, it's not meant for much more than this. So that's the difference between my old build and this new build. Because I also have less Technic pieces, I had to get really creative with it. I'm not gonna rotate this one, so if you're wanting to know if these can rotate for flight view, just gotta move this switch over here. I only have it over here just for the sake of this video. So I'm going to rotate this, and as you can see, the panels aren't clipping or moving or anything like that. And now it's in flight mode. The way I would need to rotate this, oh, no, it's actually working this time. I adjusted some of the pieces to make sure they don't slide when I turn, and as you can see, it's catching. But what it's meant to do is actually turn. So there's a little bit of a play here where you can actually repose the model and have it enter flight mode pretty nicely and not be like, wow, I had to really like take off all the panels and I can't modify anything. Like there's some play here. That I wanted that. I wanted to be able to at least switch into flight mode because that's what they're supposed to do. But some people, they build out like a little gear system back here and it turns each one, but I just used old-fashioned little arm pieces from, I think they're from the Lego Knight sets, so they came out like way back, like 2010 or whatever. I don't exactly remember when those came out, but that's where I remember seeing those, and I have them still, so I was like, might as well use them. Okay, so characters. I'm gonna turn this model. Oops, didn't mean to hit the wall there. I guess that's turned enough. We got Star Killer. We got my custom-made bounty hunter, Jango Fett. Not Jango Fett. Why do I keep saying it backwards? Why do I get them mixed up? It's obviously Boba Fett. I keep doing that. I don't know why. Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, Darth Vader's dark Sith guard or whatever, and then we have Darth Vader, and then I have a commander and the Shadow Troopers and First Order pilots, because I don't have the original pilots, but I'm okay with the First Order ones. They don't look terrible, so whatever. There are more characters in front of the ship than the 10 characters I have here, but honestly, I have enough Jedi to be able to take on the troopers and everyone, so it's okay. If you wanted to take a closer look at the engine, so as you can see, it's literally just brick separators, cylindrical pieces with the guns on top. It doesn't spin. I could have made it taller or whatever and then make it spin, but I decided not to. The engine I did make wider because I just wanted it to be like more into scale. I could have angled the pieces in more, but just to scale it correctly with, let's say, the era that this ship is from, I wanted to make it slightly more classic. So as you can see, that these panels are more straight out. It's more rugged looking, and that's kind of on purpose. I could have redesigned it, but I just feel like it gives it that old Star Wars look. I do also need to mention that if you're wondering why there's pieces missing there, I need to order replacements. So I need to get 2 of these, and then you can see that these are dark green, not black. I need to replace those. And if you want to get a better look of the front here, here's a quick view of that. Okay, engines. So we're gonna compare Falcon engine, Rogue Shadow engine. Okay, I could easily put lights behind it if I wanted to, because as you can see, it looks pretty cool. But you're wondering, like, okay, does this look smaller? It technically is smaller, but if you were to like add each side by side and straighten them out a bit more, it's kind of the length of the Falcon, or at least the volume of thrusters that are on the Falcon. And that's what I was trying to get at with this, was get kind of close to that, you know, oh, that's a really nice engine. That seems like it can go about as fast as the Falcon. At least it feels up to par or up to scale or whatever. And the engineering room is usually set here. And some of the references I was looking at showcase the roof either more straight out or kind of slanted. And what I did was just do the kind of slant all the way across instead of just going like really slanted, because it was just honestly really confusing to adjust so many of the panels when I was basically trying to figure out the bottom over here, and I was like, I'm not gonna have enough panels. So what I ended up doing was just doing that. And honestly, it looks fine. It's not a big deal because some of the references actually show it like that. So I'm like sitting there going, whatever, do I want to be completely accurate? It makes sense that the engineering room would fit in there. It's not a big deal to me. So yeah. So also, if you want to see the back, I gotta kind of move this. There's the back. There's not much like details as much as I have it like showing on the Falcon. I may add some in the future when I get more references. I'll add tiny bits of pieces here and there. I gotta fix this wing real quick. But yeah, it's also pretty light. So if I pick it up, it's very maneuverable. So I can pick it up pretty easily with one hand. And that's something I've always wanted to be able to do. So if I want to flip it over later or anything like that, it's pretty light. It's not going to fall apart on me. I'm very happy with it. It's a very nice model. So, and also I'm very happy with how the paneling inside here, the little indent. I didn't think I could make that look as nice as I did, but it ended up turning out. Sorry, my phone just died. I didn't realize didn't charge it. Oops. Okay, so let's switch over to my other camera. And what I wanted to say was, turned out pretty good. Yeah. So like I was talking about here, with the neck piece, it's actually the same piece I used for the paneling back here, but I realized that I could just attach this and it flips it upside down and then lines it up with the window and the cockpit and everything like that. It looks really nice. So yeah, that's all I wanted to get at was that. Now on to the time lapse.
The Force will be with you. The Force will be with you.
So yeah, this is the Rogue Shadow. Thank you for watching, and come back for more projects or whatever I'm working on. I do different kinds of things. Yeah, subscribe. See you.